Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to DuePoint. My name's Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here. Good evening to everyone who's tuned in around the country on our live stream. Welcome to DuePoint. I'm going to be spending about the next 60 minutes with you, maybe a little less, going through who DuePoint is, what the opportunity is all about. After the presentation, you're welcome to come speak to me, ask me any questions you might have. I think Lynn is with us this evening, so the wealth engineers, if you've got any admin requirements, you can go speak to her. All right, so let's begin. You're at DuePoint's head office. We're actually a division of another company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. That's Constantia's building in the background. They were founded in 1952, so they've been around for a very long time. The building hasn't been around for 70 years. I think that's a new building. That's the little orange logo that you see over there. The FSP number that we operate under is that one there, 31111. You'll notice in the foyer above the water cooler, we've got all our FSB licenses on display. Go take a look at those. We've got our long and short-term insurance license, our investment license, our FSP license, framed and put on the wall. We've also got our accreditation with the direct marketing and the direct selling associations. So go take a look at those. We take credibility very seriously at DuePoint. We want you to trust the business that we're going to be speaking about. It's very important to find the business that you're potentially going to be partnering with credible. So go take a look at those. The team, at least the senior team here, the executives and the managers here at DuePoint are these people up on screen. The three characters on the far left are all registered chartered accountants. Very fancy. You can see they look a little boring, right? They're talking amongst themselves. They're ignoring the non-accountants. Starting with Brendan, he's our senior executive. You saw him here this evening. Very lucky to have him leading this division because he's got so much experience in financial services, particularly in insurance. Their family have been involved in insurance all his life. His father's a professor of insurance. His father taught at Wits for 25 years. His father founded Clientele Life decades ago, along with the IFA. And Brendan and his brother Stuart followed in their father's footsteps. They went on to actually found Prime Meridian Direct, or PMD, which is a short-term insurer just down the road from us that's had a lot of success in the last decade. I think they're now the fourth biggest short-term insurer in the country. But unfortunately, growing up in insurance as kids, they used to get insurance policies as birthday presents and Christmas presents when they were growing up. How impressed would you be if you were 6 years old and got an insurance policy as your birthday present? So we've got Tim Reynolds and Stacey. They look after the auditing, the regulatory, and the accounting aspects of our business. Tim's been with the First Rand Group, or was with the First Rand Group, for about 15 years, very experienced in corporate banking. Stacey was with Deloitte all her working career. She worked locally as well as overseas before she came back to South Africa, and we convinced her to join the team here. And then the two non-accountants, Jane and myself. Jane is very experienced in direct marketing and direct selling. She's from the UK, so she brings that experience with her to our team. Because even though we're an insurance company, our growth is very much dependent on our success within the network marketing or the referral marketing space. And so Jane's experience is very important to us. And then myself, I've been working in marketing and advertising all my career. I ran my own agency for about 15 years and exited that business to join the team here. And I'll touch on why that happened a little later in the presentation. But as staff of DuePoint, know that our mandate is to support people that join us in this partnership. So it's in our interest to see you as effective and as profitable as possible in this endeavor, because as a business we can only be profitable if you guys are doing everything that you need to do and being effective at it. So know that we do everything in our power to support you in this endeavor. All right, so that's a little bit of background on us and the business. We often speak about the driving factors. It used to be 3 slides. I think we reduced it to 1 slide because everyone started crying after the 3rd slide when we discussed the driving factors, which are unfortunately very negative. And my intention is not to scare people, but really just to give you a very realistic outlook, or to kind of reflect on the circumstance that we all find ourselves in. It's a Tuesday evening. Yes, Tuesday evening in the week. I'm sure you all have families. You've got better things to be doing than sitting in a business presentation listening to me. So I think the driving factors are important because it gives credence to why you would be in a presentation like this. I assume the person that invited you here this evening would have hinted at this financial opportunity. And you know, if employment was the answer to all our issues, you wouldn't be here. right? And unfortunately it isn't. So we look at the economy for one, which is in a dismal state. Inflation's very high. We've got nearly 10 million people unemployed in South Africa, and the figure's not getting any better. We've got inflation that's sitting fairly high. Food inflation is nearly double what normal inflation is at the moment. I think it's come down a little bit after the drought that we experienced 2 years ago. And you're in a circumstance where you probably get retrenched more likely than promoted in your business. We also see it in this widening gap that's forming between what people are getting paid and what the cost of living is. And I often ask the audience, even on Saturday when the room was full, 140 people in the room, I said, we've got so many people here, I'm hoping one person will put their hand up. And the question I always ask is, well, how many people have received a raise that is in line with inflation? So a raise of between 5 and 7% every year from their employees for the last 7 years. Not a single person put their hand up out of 140 people. And this widening gap is what's really creating issues for us. I mean, we are often criticized as a economy or as a country that engages in too much debt. But when you're faced with economic circumstances like we're in, we often try to use debt to band-aid over this gap that's forming between what your salary is and what the cost of living is. And we see it reflected in a lot of the statistics that we get from the FSB. And we all know there's a plethora of different debt instruments that you can engage in. Just the other day I read an article, one of the big grocery retailers wants to be able to sell food on credit. So the situation is not getting better. And then it's further exacerbated by the prospect of retirement for a lot of people. The statistics that we get back say about 98% of South Africa will get to retirement financially dependent. In other words, the opposite of independent, right? So if you've done a good job throughout your life and put together enough of a fund, a retirement annuity, pension fund, or whatever it is, where you'll be comfortable once you hit retirement, you will be deemed being financially independent. But only 2% of our population gets that right. 98% of us will get to retirement faced with a number of decisions we have to make. We suddenly become dependent on other people, whether it's family members, your kids, and you also have to make the decision of having to downgrade your lifestyle to such an extent that you can actually survive on whatever you've saved by that time. And when you get retrenched or retired, pretty much the same thing, but when you go through retirement, you're often faced with the prospect that you have to go look for a job again. And you stand in line with 10 million other people also looking for a job. So really what this presentation is about is an opportunity to move yourself out of that 98%, right? That's one of the great ambitions we have for anyone in this business, is to change their financial circumstance. And as a business, we saw an opportunity to create a system that allows people to do that. The DuePoint system was launched last year in February. And we have 3 ambitions, 3 aspirations for the people in this business. Number 1 is to see people become debt-free, completely debt-free, right? Because that empowers you to start creating wealth. You cannot really create wealth if you have debt in your life. And I know that when you have a lot of debt in your life, you become very focused on month to month because you're worried about the end of the month. You're trying to get by. You're worried about expenses. You're worried, especially at the end of the year, which is very apt because we're right at the end of the year. And I know, for most South Africans, about traveling, visiting family, or going on holiday. If you've got kids, there's Christmas. You've got the new year starting. I've got 2 little kids, so I know. It's school fees, it's new school uniforms. Their feet grow at about an inch a month. So you've got to buy school shoes constantly. And we've got all these costs associated with the year end and a lot of stress. And you know that suicide rate goes up at the end of the year, right? How terrible is that over Christmas period? And so really what the system is here designed to do is allow you to see these aspirations as a real opportunity for you. Become debt-free, start creating wealth in terms of investing money into assets that you have ownership over, or just investing in straight investment products or savings products, and then ultimately just to change your circumstance and be happier, right? I want you ultimately to be happier in your lives, and you'll certainly change the circumstance not only for yourself but for your family too. All right, so our guests here this evening, you have the opportunity of joining DuePoint. What happens is you actually contract with us. We call you wealth engineers once you enter into contract with us. And as wealth engineers, we only expect you to do one thing, and that is to go out and build what we call channels of distribution. And through these channels of distribution, which is really you just introducing people to DuePoint, we will attempt to place product with the people that you expose DuePoint to. And that's as simply as how this entire business works. The benefit for you is you get to create additional income. That's why you're here. Instead of having dinner with your family, you want to make more money, right? But the nature of the income that you produce here is one of recurring nature. Some people will refer to this as passive income. So you might hear that term bandied around, passive income. I like to quote my father because he told me I need to get into business that makes money while I sleep. I was about 12 when he told me, so I had no bloody idea what he was talking about. But 10 years into my business, it hit me that I was in a business and I had invested really the best years of my life into this business, but I wasn't in the position where I was making money while I was sleeping. My business didn't have a residual asset value that was paying me passive income. What that means is that I had to be present and working constantly, and my staff had to be working and present constantly to be making any money, right? So for every cent I wanted to make, I had to put in the time and the effort to make that money. And that's not really a position you want to be in. You want to, and through this business, which is possible through, you want to start ridding yourself of that time constraint. You want to be able to make money while you sleep. And this business, and it's actually something that's inherent to insurance companies, we create recurring income, and you get to partake in the upside of our business. The power duplication, again, ridding yourself of time constraint. The people that you introduce to this business, these building of channels of distribution that we speak of, is your opportunity to go out and find very resourceful, effective people to help you in your business. And if you do that well, then you build leverage, because now building a recurring income is not only based on your efforts. If you've got 10 other people helping you, your efforts have just increased tenfold, right? So again, we're trying to get rid of this time constraint. Flexi time, you have the luxury of deciding when you want to do this business, but on the flip side, if you want to be successful, and this is just a hint, a tip from me, if you want to be successful in this business, you need to decide this evening how DuePoint is going to fit into your life. You're going to have to make that commitment, right? Otherwise, you're going to treat it like a hobby, you're going to treat it like a New Year's resolution, and you're going to do it when you feel like it, and you will fail at it. I guarantee you will fail at it. You have to treat this business like you've just invested 10 million rand into it, right? That's how serious you have to be about this business. Starting business is very difficult. 95% of new businesses fail in the first year, right? You cannot treat this business any differently if you want to be successful at it. We have no startup capital. There's no registration fees. I talk about you guys entering into contract with us, but there's no limitation in the contract. So we don't sign you into a 12-month or 24-month contract. And so the business is really risk-free. There's no qualifications or experience required. I often tease the audience and say, I hope everyone brought their CVs with them this morning, because I need to review your CV before you can join this business. Not true. I don't care what your CV looks like. Anyone can join this business. And also, we contract you out of the obligation around phase requirements. So because we work in financial services, we've got to do everything that the FSB tells us. You guys don't have to worry about that. So it really becomes accessible to everybody. You get to build an asset. Now, this is probably the most important benefit on the side. This should be number one right at the top, because this is really the antithesis of employment. So we think about our personal circumstance where we're all employed, I would assume. You're working for somebody else. You're building up someone else's asset. You're making someone else rich. And often you don't get to partake in the upside of when that business does well. The only upside you get to partake in is typically keeping your job, right? And maybe getting a raise every financial year of 7%. But you get to partake in the downside, because if the business doesn't do well, you don't get the increase, right? You get retrenched, possibly. You don't get promoted. In this business, know that the time that you sacrifice into this business is going into an asset, into this channel of distribution, which you have legal tender over. So you own it, right? The time that you spend in this business is building something up that you have ownership over. And so that means you can sell it one day. You can give it to your kids. It'll survive you, right? You'll get to retirement and you will carry on doing DuePoint. You should be very happy to spend time in this business. There's no selling required. Again, we actually contract you out of the obligation of selling. You're not allowed to sell. You don't have to speak about our products. That's a wonderful thing, because most of the people I meet don't like selling. They don't like having to convince somebody to buy something, right? So there's no selling involved in our business. There's no stock or distribution because we have financial products. They are not tangible products. Did anyone see boxes of vitamins in the foyer for you to take home? Right? So we don't have all the issues related to that, stock and distribution issues. You don't have to overinvest in stock and have to sell it. It doesn't take space up in the boot. It doesn't take space up in the car. It doesn't have an expiry date to it. Right? So we make the business as convenient as possible for anyone to get involved with. But your success in this business is very much determined by your ability to go out and build these channels of distribution. So channel distribution looks like this. It begins with you. That's you in the center there. You become a wealth engineer, and what you're going to be doing, like I touched on earlier, is you're going to go out and tell people about the DuePoint business opportunity. Not about our products, just about a business opportunity that exists. And if you're able to expose people to it, and some of those people will join this business, that is the beginning of your channel of distribution, right? Leverage and power duplication come into play here, because the people that you introduced to the business that became wealth engineers are going to go out and do exactly the same thing you did. They're going to go out and look for other people, expose the business to other people, and people will start to join. And you have this organic growth that can take place in your channel of distribution. So all these dots that you see up on the screen, you're getting paid for every single dot every single month. Remember, we speak about recurring income. It's not once-off income that you get here. It's recurring income. And this is what your channel of distribution can look like after a certain amount of time. My hope is that you will find very effective, dependable, resourceful people in the beginning, because your efforts almost get duplicated into your channel, right? You need to lead by example. And if you build a sustainable enough business, and this is another one of the goals that we have for our wealth engineers in this business, we want you to build a sustainable business. And by what I mean sustainable is that in 3 to 5 years' time, I want you to be able to walk away from the business without it collapsing. Right? This is where making money while you sleep comes into play. And that's the reason why I left my business, because I realized I'd have to work in the company that I ran until the day I died. Right? I didn't want that. I want to build an asset that I don't have to oversee 24/7. All right, so this is what a channel of distribution looks like. This is my warning slide. So take a look at the photo. It's a beautiful photo. Ballerina, right? That's what we think a ballerina looks like. That's what it takes to become a professional dancer. It is an analogy for business, because we look at successful business, other people. Do you know someone that's really successful in business? Right? You look at them, you think, they've got a nice car, nice house, spouse is nice, even the dog is good looking, and you think they're so lucky. These people are so lucky, right? But that's all you're seeing. You're seeing the surface. What you don't realize is that person that started their own business and went through all the trauma of making sure that business survives, going through late nights, sacrificing time, all the things that was being done behind the scenes to make their business successful. And so a lot of people might have arrived to this business presentation this evening thinking, I've been invited to one of these get-rich-quick schemes. Brendan jokes. He says, I think people hope that it's a get-rich-quick scheme because no one wants to get rich slowly. Right? But we're not one of those schemes. We're a 70-year-old business that has been around for a very long time. We're listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange. We are regulated by the FSB. We've got very reputable individuals working in this business. We're not one of those schemes. At the same time, in our training, anytime we talk about this business, we will never profess that the business is easy. Never. Go speak to the wealth engineers that have been here. We constantly tell you how difficult it is to be successful in this business or in any business. And so, the decision, and there's going to be a decision slide at the end of the presentation, the decision this evening is, are you willing to partake in the downside of entrepreneurship to enjoy the upside of entrepreneurship? That's the decision you need to make. Okay. So that's our warning slide. Let's talk about how you benefit as a wealth engineer. There's 2 ways to earn as a wealth engineer in this business. Through our returns program is the first way, and through our rewards program is the second way. So there's 2 programs, right? The returns program is what we pay wealth engineers for every product that they have in their channel. Okay? So this is the returns program. We pay a base return fee of R27.50 for every product you have in your channel. That is dependent on where the product lies. So remember the first 5 individuals that you introduced to the business? Those people and their product lie on your first point. They are 1 point away from you. And as you can see on the table, on point 1, we pay you double the 27 Rand 50. So in effect, we're paying you 55 Rand for every product every single month going forward. Those people go out and they introduce more people into your channel. That product lies on your second point, and again, we pay you 55 Rand for every product every month. And so as the product starts to get further away from you with the growth of your channel, all the way down to the 8th point, you see the multiplier then starts to drop all the way to 4%. From the point 8, in theory, into infinity, we will keep paying you the 4%. So it's important to note that we don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint, and we don't limit you on how much money you can earn here at DuePoint. The accountability always lies with you. You want more, you've got to do more, or you've got to be around a lot longer. You've got to be more persistent, more consistent. You've got to endure in this business. So this is the way we calculate our returns, the mechanics of the returns. The next question we get is often, well, at least from the guests, is how much money can you make in this business? Give me an idea of what kind of returns we can expect in a business like this. So we built this projection. We call it the Path to Success. Very appropriate title. And the projection follows a growth formula. The growth formula is called 3+2. It assumes as a new wealth engineer in your first month, you can bring 3 people into your business successfully in your first month, right? So let's call it November, because tomorrow's November. Let's call it November. You join in November, you get 3 people to join your business successfully in November, and then every consecutive month thereafter, you only have to bring in another 2 people, right? So in December, find another 2 people. 1 person on the beach, 1 person at the Christmas dinner, right? In January, you find another 2 people. In February, another 2 people. And you keep bringing 2 people into your business every month into perpetuity, right? If you can follow that growth formula, 3+2, you can expect to be earning about 2,500 Rand after 6 months, right? Now, I'm looking at everybody because I like to look at people's reactions when I say 2,500 Rand after 6 months of work. No one's ever walked out, so it can't be that bad. Right? But is 2,500 Rand worth 6 months worth of work? Often people don't think that. Even when I saw the example that the accountants came up when we were still developing the business, I thought 2,500 Rand, can't we have an example that's a little better than that, right? But what I've learned in this business is to give money a different context. We make the mistake, and I make the mistake all the time, of thinking like a consumer, like a spender. So if you give me a number, a figure, a monetary figure, I will always attach value to it in terms of something I can buy. I never look at money and give it the future value that it deserves, right? But what you don't realize is that if you have any debt in your life, the future value is negative, right? It's affecting you negatively because you're on the wrong side of compound interest. When you have debt, you're on the wrong side of compound interest. When you start creating recurring income or have assets or investments, then you're on the right side of compound interest, right? So you can't turn our nose up at 2,500 Rand. I'm going to illustrate it for you because here's an example of someone with a bond, a 1 million Rand bond, right? So if you're my age, you're 40 and you engage in a bond from today, by the time I'm 60 years old, I'll finish paying that house off, right? Because I've entered into a 20-year bond term. I'll be paying the bank back for 20 years, about 11,500 Rand. For a 1 million Rand house. For 1 million Rand in Bryanston, you can probably get a 50 square meter flat in Bryanston, right? Doesn't go very far anymore, does it? I joined DuePoint. 6 months later with some success, I'm earning 2,500 Rand a month. And instead of going out and buying a new pair of shoes or enjoying life a little more, living it up every month, I do the very boring and mature thing of trying to pay my debt off a little faster. Right? So I take the 2,500 Rand and I put it in as an additional payment into my bond. The net effect of this is that I will reduce the bond term from 20 years to 11.5 years. I'll be 51 instead of 60. I'll be 51 and finally be a homeowner. The net effect of that is that I've saved myself in payments back to the bank. I've saved myself 1 million Rand. Isn't that mind-blowing? 1 million Rand saving off of just extra 2,500 Rand going into your bond. It gives me the freedom of now putting the 11,500 plus the 2,500. Now I can put 14,000 a month into my retirement fund, right? But it requires a decision 20 years before I get to realize the fruits of that decision. You have to make that decision today, right? After 12 months, you're nearly 10,000 Rand a month. That's in excess of 100,000 Rand in annual recurring income that you're going to be making for yourself. When was the last time you got a 100,000 Rand bonus from your employer? Never. Never. Huh? Shame. You keep going. 24 months, we're close to 30,000 Rand a month. Right? Now we're all a little more interested, I hope, because I'm assuming 30,000 Rand will pay off a lot of cost of living items on your list. You keep going. After 36 months, we're on close to 50,000 Rand. You want to look at the bond example? Here's a high roller, 5 million Rand house. At month 30, you're probably earning about 36,000 Rand. You do the boring yet mature thing of putting that 36,000 Rand as an additional payment into your 5 million Rand bond. You'll pay that house off in less than 7 years. I love this example because my imagination starts to go wild. At the age of 47, I pay off my first 5 million Rand house, right? Remember, our aspiration was always pay your debt off first and then start investing, right? Whether it's in assets or investment products, whatever. So I pay my first house off. Then I buy a second house, right? Pay the debt off, start investing. I buy a second house. At the age of 54, I pay that second house off. I buy a third house. At the age of 61, I've now paid off 3 houses to the value of 5 million Rand each. I'm now retired. I live in a 5 million Rand house. I'm earning passive income from the investments I've made in property because I'm renting those 2 properties out for 60, 70,000 Rand a month, plus whatever I'm getting as a return from DuePoint in 21 years' time. That's the retirement that we want people to aspire towards. Instead of sitting back, depending solely on your employer to pay you a salary, trying to keep up with the cost of living, not being in a position to build up a retirement fund, getting to retirement and realizing you haven't done enough in the last 40, 45 years of working for somebody else. It requires the decision this evening. You keep going. After 48 months, you're close to 70,000 Rand a month. After 60 months, 5 years, short 5 years away, about 1 million Rand in annual recurring income. But now I've probably lost you because the number's too big. Right? We started too small, now we ended too big. What are you more comfortable with? 30,000 a month? 10,000 a month? It'll be different for everyone. This is purely an example, right? The example was 3 in the first month, 2 every month thereafter. A lot of people do less than that. I call them my 0 plus 0 club. Right? They get excited in the presentation, they join, they don't do anything. But then I've got other wealth engineers that look at 2,500 Rand after 6 months and go, I'm willing to work more to earn more than 2,500 after 6 months. Right? And every month we bring them all up onto stage and I want them to tell the audience of their experience of having done this. Because I think some people think, I cannot do it. Right? So these are very normal people. These aren't actors. I was once accused that we bring actors onto stage. These are normal people, very different backgrounds. Some are educated, some have got matric, some don't have matric. Some have got degrees, some don't have degrees. Some have got corporate experience, some don't have any corporate experience. Joseph from Midrand, Gauteng, joined middle of May. Within 30 days he had created 3,000 Rand almost a month for himself. And then he almost doubled that 60 days later. Let me give you a pop quiz on retirement saving. How much money do you need to have in an investment? So in a bank, cash account, to receive about 5,000 Rand a month in interest? Because that's the question you're going to ask yourself when you get to retirement. How much money have I saved to give myself income? You need to have saved 1 million Rand in cash to pay yourself out 5,000 Rand a month. He did it in 90 days. 90 days. The alternative is you can work for somebody, don't do anything else, and save about 800 Rand a month from the age of 20 to the age of 60. 800 Rand a month, and increase that 800 Rand contribution every year by inflation. If you do that for 40 years, you'll have saved 1 million Rand. Do we start thinking differently about how money works? I hope so. Shedrack KZN Madadeni joined in the middle of April. 30 days too, nearly 3,000 Rand a month. 60 days later, nearly doubled that again, and nearly doubled that again 60 days after that. He laughs in the face of 5% increase in his salary once a year. But we're happy when we get that, right? If we get 7% a year, we're happy. If we get 3%, we toy and get violent. Right? Because it's affecting us. What do you do when you can't put food on the table at the end of the month? You come to a DuePoint presentation, I hope, instead of just moan about the economy and moan about this and moan about that. Nompilo, also from KZN, joined at the end of April. Slow start compared to everyone else. The start is fine. 3 plus 2. She's doing more than 3 plus 2. 600 Rand after the first month. Look at that jump. Tripled it 60 days after that. Nompilo is actually in this lady's channel, right? Very much about collaboration, finding the right people for your business. Zongi, similar. End of April, sitting on 25,000 Rand a month. Where's it going to be next month? She's taking control over her income. I've got nothing to do with what she's doing every day. When she wakes up in the morning, I don't phone her and say, Zongi, are you thinking about DuePoint today? Right? The accountability lies with her 100%. 100%. This is a volunteer business, unfortunately. If she does nothing through November, I can't fire her. You guys have to make the decision. You've got to find the encouragement, the motivation, the reasons to do this business. I'd love to see everybody successful. But like I said, we've got a club called the 0+0 Club that is fairly large. Right? And unfortunately, the majority of people sitting here are going to join the business but not do anything. That's just, it just boggles my mind. I'm not sure why. Sometimes in these presentations, I think that maybe I can say something that'll change people. But who knows? I don't think I can change the ratios, the statistics that much. So we have about hundreds of people that are creating an income for themselves every single month. People are all different. People have got more time to sacrifice. Other people have got less. Everyone's got different backgrounds. You decide. You have the luxury of deciding what your goal is and working towards that goal. It is completely up to you guys. So this is our returns program. This is what we pay our wealth engineers at the end of every single month. I told you there was a second way to benefit as a wealth engineer, and that is through our rewards program. So our rewards program is called the XP Rewards Program. It works like this. You become a new wealth engineer, and our current wealth engineers, they all engage in typical wealth engineer behavior, which is coming to presentations, bringing guests, some do home presentations and bring guests home, logging into the DuePoint app, watching training videos, all these kind of things. And when you engage in that type of activity, we give you something called XP. It stands for experience points, right? So you're going to be collecting more and more XP. Every single day you can earn XP, XP, XP. And when you start collecting more of this XP and your business starts, your channel starts to grow, you start to rank up in our XP Rewards program. So if you join this evening, you'll start out as a rank 0 wealth engineer, right? You're not even on the slide. Can you see? You're not even on the slide. You're not important. You're still part of the 0+0 club, right? You've got nothing to talk about. You haven't done anything. But if you get 1,000 XP, which you can do in 5 minutes, I'll tell you how, and you have 4 products in your qualified channel, you'll become rank 1. And rank 1s in our XP Rewards program will get a once-off 55 Rand. So the moment you become rank 1, we give you 55 Rand extra at the end of the month. Once off, that's it. And then as you start progressing, you get more XP and your channel starts to grow, then you start to rank up. And as you rank up, the cash rewards and the other rewards get bigger and better. You can see there, 20,000 Rand, 50,000 Rand. We give tools to our wealth engineers that assist them to be more effective in this business. So at rank 5, we give our rank 5s this cute little lightning memory stick. It's a beautiful little device because it plugs into anything, literally any device. Right? So it doesn't matter whether you've got Apple, Android, banana, whether it's a tablet, a phone, a laptop, a computer, a TV, that little device plugs into all of it. So that Patrick and Pumi can show people the DuePoint opportunity regardless of what device they have around them. At rank 7, we give our rank 7 wealth engineers these premium, luxurious business cards. They cost us 12,500 Rand a set to get manufactured. There's no ink on these business cards. No ink. That is gold. The logo is embossed in gold, and the edges are what we call gilded in gold. There's only one man in the whole country that can do it, got to ship the cards down to Cape Town. The old man gilds them. Remember the old Bibles? Often used to be gilded in gold on the edges, the pages. It's the same process. The cards are 4 times thicker than any other card, and they're printed on a black suede paper. Right? Why would we go to such lengths for business cards? Because this business requires or is very much dependent on first impressions and credibility. Right? Because not everyone's heard of DuePoint. Not yet. We're only about 2 years old. When you give someone a business card like this, I promise you your credibility goes up, because your business card is about 50 times more expensive than the one they've got in their wallet. Right? It'll give you more time to explain what the business is all about, and hopefully make you more successful in this endeavor. At rank 9, we take our wealth engineers, our rank 9 wealth engineers, and their families for an international conference. It's 7 days away, 5-star luxury resort. We fly you business class with your family, there and back, and it's not a once-off reward. This is one of our rewards that are recurring. So when you get to rank 9, you will enjoy this international conference with your family every single year for the rest of your life. Everyone gets excited. This is why everyone joins, I think, right? At the end of the presentation, I'm going to tell you to ignore the international conference. Ignore it. Excitement doesn't lead to success. Did you know that? But I'm going to show you where we're going. So take a look. This is video footage of the actual resort that we're going to. You can go Google it. It's in Mauritius. It's called the Western Turtle Bay. I want you to imagine your toes in the sand.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see. You stand all at the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
So that's available for everybody in the room. Every single person. You have to start out, unfortunately, at rank 1. So you have to ask yourself the question, can I get excited about 55 Rand? 55 Rand, rank 1. That affords you a cappuccino and a muffin to celebrate on your own. Right? But my point is, if you can get to rank 1, you've proven to yourself you can get to rank 9. because the behavior, the activity is actually exactly the same throughout the rewards program. The activity doesn't change. You're still just telling people about the DuePoint opportunity. At rank 11, we spend R250,000 on a brand new car and present it. We give it to our wealth engineers. There is no debit order at the end of the month for you. So this has already happened. We've got wealth engineers already at rank 11. We launched last year in February. The accountability lies with you. How much time are you going to spend in this business? So this is our rewards program. You saw the table went up to rank 20. We've already designed up to rank 28. We haven't thought about the next 5 years in this business. We've already mapped out the next 30. Unfortunately, the majority of people give up before month 3. But there'll be a minority of you that'll keep going. You'll get to year 1 and year 2. Are you going to be there at year 30? When we talk about wealth engineers that are at rank 25, rank 26, rank 27, rank 28, they've gone on the rank 9 international conference for 20 years already. Every single year. Their kids have grown up only knowing business class travel. When you turn your nose up at economy. I tried to do that, but I couldn't afford business class flights, so I still got to sit in economy. So this is the rewards program. We've got a third way to benefit in this business, and that's through our Wealth Quest. So tonight, I'm announcing November's Wealth Quest. So every month, we have a new Wealth Quest. Tomorrow is the 1st of November. I will give you a sneak peek as to what Wealth Quest begins tomorrow morning. We call it Come Fly With Me. And the challenge that we issue is for wealth engineers to be able to rank up. Right? So in the rewards program, you rank up one of the existing qualified wealth engineers in your business, and you qualify new wealth engineers. So you find a new person in the month of November and assist them, you help them, you always support the people in your business to become qualified. And if you do those two things, you'll have a big screen, smart LED TV sitting in your lounge before the end of November. I don't know what else I need to do to make people work. There we go, guys. So those are the 3 ways to benefit as a wealth engineer. We could ask the question, well, how does DuePoint afford all of this? So quite simply, as opposed to traditional insurance companies that spend a lot of money on marketing and advertising to acquire new clients, DuePoint doesn't do any of that. So we don't spend a cent on marketing and advertising. You won't see a DuePoint logo outside of our building. We rely on our wealth engineers, on you guys, to go tell people about the DuePoint opportunity. And so instead of spending the billions that the insurance industry spends on client acquisition, we instead take that portion of our premium and we pay it to our wealth engineers in the form of these returns and rewards and the wealth quests that we do every month. So it's a pretty simple explanation of how our business model works. Let's talk about our products. So we've got 3 products. You are free to take out 1, 2, or 3 products. It's completely up to you. The first product is called the Access Wealth Plan. It's 299 Rand a month, of which you get to partake in a tax-free investment account. So we'll put 100 Rand every month into the tax-free investment account in your name. It's not a notice or a fixed account, so you can draw that investment out at any stage. It takes us about 72 hours to process, but you can draw money out at any stage. And then on top of that, you get a little bit of personal accident cover to the value of 110,000 Rand. Right? So if you have the Access Wealth Plan and you, for example, are killed in a car accident, we will pay out your beneficiaries 110,000 Rand plus whatever's in the investment. So this is product number 1, the Access Wealth Plan. Product number 2 is strictly an insurance product. So this is only insurance. It's called Wealth Guard. It's 274 Rand a month, but this time you get 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. All right, so the beauty of our personal accident cover is that it becomes available to anyone over the age of 18, right? Because we don't profile you from a health risk point of view. This is not life insurance. So you can be 70 years old, you can be diabetic, you can still take out Wealth Guard. It'll still only cost you 274, and you still get the full amount of the 1.1 million Rand cover. Okay, so that's Wealth Guard, the insurance product. Product number 3 is called the Wealth Points Buyers Club program. What this product aims to do is save us some money on the money that we're spending every month anyway, right? So for 274 Rand a month, you get to enjoy the discounts that we've negotiated with the list of suppliers that you see over there. So I know we spend a fortune on groceries. We've got a whole bunch of retailers. We've got Yuppie Chef, Hershey's, ShopRite, Checkers, and Take-A-Lot listed in the partners. You get between 2.5% and 5% discount with those. We've got always on Wi-Fi data, 67% off data. You can buy a gig for 36 Rand. It's very much a data-driven business. That's why we went with a partner. The Entertainer is an app that runs on your phone. 1.3 million rands worth of buy one, get one free vouchers through the Entertainer. We've got Eagle Ford. We've got a couple of others. FHM Professional Training, Love Hair, Vodri, all hair, beauty-related partners. We're always adding new partners to this product. If you're looking for immediate benefit out of any of the products, this is probably the best product to go with. But those are the three products. If you have any questions, come ask me afterwards. We've kept them very simple. They are straightforward products, right? But come speak to me if you want any questions answered. Here we are, the decision slide. What was the decision? Must I start the presentation from the beginning again? The decision is, we're here, you are here, you are here. So I'm assuming you want more money, right? So we can say that box is ticked. The question really is, realistically, are you willing to put up with the downside of entrepreneurship? Remember the ballerina's foot? Blisters, bleeding toes, probably a couple of toenails are popped off. Right? The foot does not look good. Are you willing to endure that? Because that's what business requires. Right? And if you're willing to endure that, you can work towards the upside of entrepreneurship. And that is ridding yourself of your dependency on an income from somebody you've got no control over, your employer, right? Falls prey to the economy, whatever consumers are doing, all those things. What your boss thinks about you. All these things. Ridding yourself of those constraints and investing time into a business that you actually have ownership over for once, right? Something that'll survive you. Imagine that, starting a business. Here at DuePoint, this part-time business that you're doing on the side, and you get to 70, 80, 90 years old, you pass away, and you give this asset to your kids that's earning 100, 200,000 Rand a month. Imagine that, right? They'll talk about you for generations to come. Granddad or grandma that joined DuePoint 80 years ago. It begins today, making decisions that you can only realize the fruits of in 10, 15, 20, 30 years' time. When you move from the 98% of people that are dependent at retirement to one of those independent people that have paid off all their debt, that have already started investing in assets and investments for 10, 15 years. That's the decision. I don't know what else to say to the people that get excited about this business. So I want to say one thing. I cannot stand hype. People make the mistake of thinking this business is one of those get-rich-quick schemes. And there's a lot of them. There's even legal ones in South Africa. You know, these talks that you go to. They bring you to a talk, lots of people, they hype up the audience, and then they say to you, if you want to learn how to be rich like us, just book in. Book in on the training. The training costs 20,000 Rand for the weekend. Right? You know those. Right? There are lots of them. I cannot stand hype. Like I said, excitement does not lead to success. Those business propositions are smash and grab type of businesses. For the people that get excited in this business and think they're going to become rich, I don't want you in the business. You waste my time. You do. And you waste the people that bring you into the business, you're wasting their time too. I want people that join this business that are able to endure and be sustainable in their approach to the business. And we're willing to support you and help you along the way and reward you and take you overseas. But you have to be very realistic about what's expected in this business. Right? And if that means some of you walk out the building going, oh no, I was looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, so be it. But the rest of the people that are willing to work hard in this business and endure through the ups and the downs, I'm willing to work with you for a lifetime. And that's the decision we're making this evening. Do you want to partake in that, or you don't want to partake in it? Joining is very straightforward. Make sure you read our code of conduct. It is our contract with you that defines what you may and may not do in this business. Once you register as a wealth engineer, apply yourself to the business like you would any other business. And you might not have started a business. You might not know what I'm talking about. But we have set out all the training for you. It's all there. So we've got online training. It requires setting goals, preparing a plan, strategizing towards your goal, And this is all based off the activity of just going out and speaking to people. Right? God-given gift to talk to people. It doesn't happen over social media. You actually have to pick up a phone. Okay. So getting started is very simple. We've got merchandise to assist you. This is not a profit center for us. These are tools that we make available that we think would assist you in this endeavor of building channels. So please consider getting business cards. Like I said, this business very much relies on credibility and first impressions. You have to be professional, look professional, treat the people that you engage with professionally, and have business cards. If you're going to propose the greatest thing since sliced bread, and the guy says to you, "Oh, great, how do I get hold of you? Do you have a business card?" "No, I don't have a business card." You're an amateur, right? You're hampering your own business. Please consider getting the business cards. The USB stick has got all our videos on there. So before you get the fancy rank 5 USB stick, use that one. All our videos are on there. And if you're data shy, it'll save you a little bit of data. The pins on the top left corner signify people that are earning money in this business. So I joke, I say, if you go speak to anyone, don't speak to someone who doesn't have a pin, because you're speaking to the 0+0 club. You don't want advice from the 0+0 club. When you become a rank 1, you get that pin. I think it's 40 Rand. If anyone in your business becomes rank 1, you make sure that they get the pin. Wear it with pride. Show people that you know how to do this business, that you're on your way to rank 9. Right? So we've got a host of other merchandise. It's all on display in the cabinet. The pricing's on the counter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got about 500 videos on the YouTube channel. Fortunately, it's all categorized beautifully for you to go through. All our training, all the presentations, the interviews, everything is on there. If you subscribe, it'll tell you every time we put up a new video. It'll tell you every time we're doing a live feed. Download the mobile app. So the mobile app exists for Android and for Apple. Download it. And if you want to earn 1,000 XP immediately, update your profile picture on your app. That's simple. We give you 1,000 XP when you do that, right? No duck faces with sunglasses on, right? It's not your Tinder profile, it's your professional working profile. So it's like a passport photo with a smile, right? Do that for me. Do it for yourselves for the 1,000 XP, and all you need is the 4 products to get to rank 1. That's how quickly you can progress. All right, some don'ts. So we've had to put the slide up because we have people that obviously don't read the code of conduct and that transgress every aspect of the don't do section. So we're going to go through these quickly. Don't become a wealth engineer if you cannot afford it, right? That's obvious. Not a charity business. So we've targeted the business to a certain market, and hopefully we will empower ourselves that we can help people that need help. So if you can't afford the product, you can't become a wealth engineer. If you don't have access to the internet, you're going to really battle to do this business, because we're very much a data-driven business. We don't have brochures, we don't have printed application forms. No trees are harmed in the making of DuePoint, right? So it's something that you actually have to invest in. You've got to decide, I have to invest in more data to do this business effectively. If you struggle with transport, you're going to struggle, because this is very much, even though we've invested so much money in technology, this business is very much a people business. It's very much one-on-one relationship-based business, right? You have to understand that. So it's going to require times where you're going to be meeting with your first pointers, you're going to be meeting with your team, you're going to be meeting with prospects. It requires access to transport. Don't ever complete a DuePoint application form on behalf of somebody else. This is not only in contravention of the code of conduct, you're also breaking the law. It is fraudulent to do an application on behalf of somebody else. And I see the people doing it. They write down, they've got the gogo who's never used an email address in her life before, and they write all her details down. They say, don't worry, gogo, I'm going to sort this out for you later. That's fraudulent, right? That's breaking the law. Don't do that. Just don't do that. That's the wrong person. You need to find resourceful people that know how to use the internet for your business. Don't add direct family members into your channel. So this is what we call an anti-stacking rule. It's basically a rule that says if you've got anyone in your household or family that you live with, they cannot be in your channel. There's too much manipulation that happens there, unfortunately. If people didn't manipulate our system, we would allow it, but they do. So if it's a direct family member that's in your household, they cannot belong to your channel. If it's a child that's moved out and living in their own house, started their own family, they can be in your channel. Not a problem. Okay? Don't start your own DuePoint Facebook page. Okay, this is my number one pain. My number one pain. Fortunately, we got very clever, and last year we've now had to hire another business to build reports for us. So we get a daily report with regards to anyone who mentions DuePoint on social media sites. Twitter, Facebook, anything, YouTube. We get the report, And if you are doing what you're not supposed to be doing, building a DuePoint page, trying to advertise our products, advertise DuePoint to unemployed people, advertise DuePoint as a job, those things, we suspend you immediately. Immediately. And then you're going to get a message from client service, say, phone client service to unsuspend yourself. And you say, why you suspend me? Go read your code of conduct. Right? Makes us all very angry. So don't even engage in Facebook. You don't need to. None of our wealth engineers that are successful in this business have ever gone, oh, Facebook was my strategy, and that's what's working for me. Never. None of them ever said that. Okay. You don't need it. Don't send a lead to DuePoint unattended. So this is very impersonal, and it's a bit rude, I think, too. So for people around our head office, they'll send people to head office unattended. So we'll get a stranger walking in, going, I'm here for the presentation. Oh, who sent you? No, someone on Facebook, I can't remember their name. Now we must take care of the person. Guys, you have to look after the people that you prospect, the people that you introduce to the business. You have to have a relationship with them. Have spoken to them. Know when they're coming to the head office. Meet them. Right? Got to engage. You are now the MD of your channel, and you are building a board of executives, a board of directors. Right? Be involved. Be involved if you want to be successful. So those are our don'ts. On Thursday, we've got a very exciting format. So we've got a secret guest joining us on Thursday for our intro presentation. Someone extremely knowledgeable in this business and in this industry. And Brendan has interviewed the guy. So come through on Thursday night. It's a very exciting format. Make sure you bring some guests. He's a heavyweight in the market, and he'll lend a lot of credibility to the presentation. So bring as many guests as you can on Thursday evening. Make sure you book online or register online. A reminder. So we're at the end, guys. A reminder, 30 days left. What do we have 30 days left until? 1 December. What is 1 December? It's the first day to permanent Puza Thursday till the 1st of February. Right? I can see everyone's in holiday mode already. I can see the statistics we get. Everyone went on holiday from the 1st of October. Huh. What are you? No wonder you're not getting a raise at work, because you're all on holiday already from 1 October. Right? So it's our reminder. It's really just a reminder to say 30 days left. Work as hard as you can for the next 30 days. We want 2017 to be a year that you started changing your life in. I don't want to see everyone. What happens at the end of the year? You see it on Facebook. Everyone, oh, 2017 was terrible. I'm happy to see the back of 2017. 2018 is going to be number one. I don't want that. I want people, wealth engineers. I want wealth engineers to look back at 2017 and go, that's the year things started happening, when I started taking charge of my income. Right? So do it. We've got 30 days left. You saw some of those wealth engineers. 3,000 Rand in the space of 30 days. Do it for yourselves. No one else is going to do it. So that's our reminder. Guys, we are done. If you have any questions, come speak to me afterwards. Have a wonderful week and launch into the wealth quest that is launching tomorrow. Right? One qualified wealth engineer, a new person that you bring in, and one of your existing first pointers that are qualified. What do you have to do to them? You've got to rank them up. So they either got to go to rank 1 to rank 3. If you rank 1 or 2, you've got to jump up 2 ranks. If you rank 3, you only have to jump up 1 rank. Go look at the T's and C's. It's going to be on the website tomorrow morning. An email will be sent to everyone tomorrow morning. Make sure November, at the end of November, you've got a big screen TV. It's a 49-inch TV like this. Big flat screen LED TV, smart TV. It connects to the internet. You can plug USB sticks in it. Good luck, guys. You want what? Money, not TV. The TV is not for fun. The TV is to show presentations and the live stream at your house every night. It's a tool to make money. Go for it, guys. Thank you.